So context is the most important thing that any AI system can have, because without it, it can't actually deliver the results that you want in a way that matter to you or your business. In this video, we're going to be focusing specifically on getting information out of your head. We've been doing a whole data series about how to get context, so we're at video 3 right now. You can think of this like tribal knowledge. I'm pretty sure perhaps you or somebody that you work with is the person that everybody goes to within the business because you guys have all of the information. Not only is that taxing on you, but it also means that if anybody had to build some form of automation, they would either have to come to you or the system wouldn't have it because you are the only expert. So what we need to do here is extract all of that knowledge and give it to our AI system as fast as possible. Because there are 3 dead ends around this. The first one being is that no matter what model you use, if it does not have the context that it needs, you could feed a workflow fable, and if it doesn't have the right context, irrelevant. More importantly over here is the better context that you give this thing, you can actually use a much cheaper model to get what you want. So having this wins both on a cost perspective, but also on a workflow efficiency perspective. The second thing here is everybody thinks to write a better prompt, but the way we use AI now with skills and all of the pieces that form part of that, writing a perfect prompt with all the constraints and things baked into it is actually much less efficient than having the things in the references in your assets folder and examples of good provided up front, because this can be loaded with progressive disclosure. But more importantly, what's happening here when people are refining their actual prompts, they're trying to make the prompt better, which is the ask, the thing that you're asking the AI to do, as opposed to focusing on the outcome that you want. When we focus on grabbing context, we're forced to decide what a definition of done looks like, and therefore provide those examples that we can run with our evals. And the third mistake that I see people making all the time is to say, look, my system pulls everything out of everywhere. That is no use to the AI. If you're pulling everything out of there, it means all that data is not only bloating the context window, but it also means that at some point you're going to have to refine that, because surely not all of that is useful. So our goal here is not to do that. It's to be very specific about getting the information that we want and only the information that we need for the thing to do the job that we need it to do. So for me, the bottleneck often comes down to the extraction. I could sit down and I could write pretty much exactly how I do my workflows every single day. That's easily doable. But when you have to walk through every part of your business from a blank page, it can really become overwhelming. So the easiest way to do this is to flip it and build very purpose-driven interview skills that ask you the specific questions for the domain knowledge that it needs to extract from you. And this is pretty much just reverse prompting. Instead of you sitting down and talking to the AI has a skill that is perfectly driven to ask you the right questions for the work that you're doing. But unlike other channels, I don't like this whole one big interviewer for everything. If you've been following my channel for a while, you've seen throughout our AIOS journey over the last 6 months, I've put out various skills around obtaining this information. Usually we start with something like onboard, which just pulls out all of the information that the model will need for your AI operating system, such as pricing, your clients, who you sell to, things like that. But then we dive into much deeper skills like the pod mapper and the offer engine. And these are very purpose driven because they pull out from the exact lanes within your business where we need that domain expert to grab the information. Run my pod mapping skill and my offer engine skill in parallel with mock data. I'm doing this for a live YouTube demo. So what this thing is going to do is it's going to run through the skills that I'm talking about. And while it's doing that, we're just going to flip back to the slides quickly so I can talk more about pod mapping and offer engine. So every single business out there, whether you're trying to make money or not, you're going to have at least these 4 pods. You have acquisition, which is how you get your clients. You have delivery, which is what you're going to be delivering to those clients or the service that you're offering them. You have support, which is how you keep those clients happy. And then you have operations, which is what keeps your business moving on the back end. So if we had to take our acquisition, for example, what would actually be happening in there is the AI would be walking you through an audit as if there is an expert sitting in front of you, walking through this really important audit to not only look at how your workflows run, but also understand if this thing would actually be valuable to you somewhere down the line. You could, of course, tie this into your actual audit that you are doing for yourself or for a client so that you can even map it out for them and make it a lot larger. But what we're doing here, we're not just capturing the information, we're also building the exact skill that this lane would need in order to complete its job. So if we look at this example here, this is for the acquisition pod. So what this thing would ultimately do is walk the user through how they obtain leads, how they get new clients, and then ultimately sell to them. In doing so, we're exposing every part of that journey and building the skills that we need along the way, exposing all the tools that go into this that we can perhaps pull information from using our data map skill, or if we have to build new tools, it will make us aware of that so that we can build the Python scripts and all of that that go alongside these skills. So that's the biggest difference here. We're not just interviewing ourselves to have some context stored in a folder, which is very, very valuable. We're having context that gets stored in a folder, but we're also building the skill and everything we need at the same time while we're doing that. So if we have a look at the skill, it's just pretty straightforward English over here, and we're going through phases just as a real human would if you had to sit down and do some kind of workflow audit with them. In phase 1, we're asking them to pick the pod that eats the most of their time, and it's very important to do that You don't just want to YOLO your way through this and pick one randomly. Find out where most of your time gets eaten, because that's going to show you not only where you're going to get the most ROI, but also you're going to get wins very quickly, which frees up your time to focus on the next layers over and over again. Phase 2 then literally maps the workflow with them, and it's prompted. So it doesn't do it all at once. It does it step by step. We do each part of the workflow, and they'll say, okay, so I go into Apollo, I do X, Y, Z. Then it will say, is there anything else that gets attached to this once you're inside Apollo? Basically, the goal is here to keep asking follow-up questions until we've exhausted every part of that and uncovered any gaps that we might have in our system in the first place. The goal of phase 2 is to obviously get to the end of that, where we have a complete workflow mapped from start to finish that helps us build our skill. Then as a part of phase 3, it's going to pull out your entire stack. And this is very important because it ties in with our data mapping skill. Once we have the stack, we can then go and connect all of these things via MCP and map all of those systems for you so that you can decide what needs to be done inside those systems. If you haven't seen that video, I will be linking the series down below. Phase 4 is very important, where we circle the waste. AI is going to tell us what we can automate, what needs assistance with AI, and what we need to keep as genuinely human. That's important for you to understand because it's completely unrealistic to think AI is going to be able to do every single thing for you. From there, it builds us a map of our workflows and ultimately translates all of the things that we need into some kind of technical architecture so that we can build the skills or any of the systems that we need alongside AI doing it for us. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It gives you everything that you're going to need to carry on through the chain of setting up your business one workflow at a time. And so this thing is done running through our mock scenarios of both the pod mapping, but then within that pod mapping, crafting our actual offer that we would use inside our acquisition lane. So we'll have a quick look at both of these things. The first thing is just a markdown file of the successful pod mapping. And we do it in markdown so that AI can actually use this and build off of it when it needs to build your skills and all of the things that go alongside it. It's still very easily human readable. And if you wanted to, you could of course get it to make an HTML file or whatever format you needed. The point is here though, is that we have selected acquisition as our choice. Pain is rated 8 out of 10. And then it's gone through this and pretended to be Sarah and actually built the exact workflow that we have. In this case, it's a referral intro email or an inbound DM from someone who saw her in an e-com community, and then it walks through each step. Realistically, if a human had done this, it could be way more verbose than this. So this short little section over here, it's really up to you. Just remember that the more you do feed the AI, the more context it has, the better the solution is ultimately going to be. So when you're interviewing people, always make sure you're being very, very specific and getting exactly what you need. And then as mentioned, phase 3 literally just lists all of the tools that take part in this. And it goes through the skill over and over again until we get exactly what we need, tells the user what we can automate, what it can assist with, and what genuinely has to stay human, and then ultimately builds us our technical report. For the offer engine, it gives us two things. It gives us something very human readable so the human understands it, but then also a markdown file and all of the context that the system would need. That would probably be stored in context because it forms business context. My voice, my ICP, my business, the go-to-market profile, things like that all get stashed there as a result of running these domain-specific skills. And so when we get over to the result of our offer engine skill that we ran in parallel, the goal here is to get a very clear offer in front of people. It also helps us understand if our offer is any good in the first place. So it's kind of like a roast and then make it better. And this is built off of all of Hormozi's frameworks and a few other people. So we're using that domain expert to extract everything as a part of our workflow. So again, we're focused on a domain expert here, extracting that information from us and then rating it. This one starts with the market validation of our idea. It tells us where we are out of 10. Anything that's lower, you can of course have back and forth conversation to try and get this thing better, but it will recommend things towards the end. We then score it on the value equation itself as to whether your idea is any good and where it could be improved. You can see whatever this demo was, it wasn't as good as it wanted to be, and it tells us our weakest links. Then also tells us the logical fix for this, because it's pointless telling someone what's wrong without fixing it. We then get into the value stack, where it will give you ideas of how you can take your product or offer or idea and present it in various different ways, so it increases the perceived value of whatever your offer is. It will then give you some ideas on how to price this. More importantly, if you don't understand pricing at all, I do have videos on that as well, covering everything from time and materials to value-based pricing. I'd recommend you check that out instead of going on some ARB numbers that AI puts out all the time. Of course, an offer is just one part of this. You're not just going to put something in front of people and they're magically all going to say yes. So as a part of this, we're also giving you a full script. But then further down, we're listing any objections that people might have towards this. What we're doing here is sub-agents will run from different perspectives of buyers or people watching your product videos and things like that. And it will automatically come up with ideas of things they might object to. So if you're prepared for that, by the time you get on the call, you're going to deliver a much better call and be able to handle their objections before they even know they've said them. And then finally, of course, we want to understand who our ICP is. So this thing is going to extract that and refine it based on all of the research that you've run through as a result of going through all of these interview skills. So in terms of where to start, of course, the best place to start is with something like onboarding to extract the basic information, because with that basic information, we give it a little bit of context that it needs to run these further layers later on. I definitely recommend that you don't try and do every single part at the exact same time. Do them one at a time, then build the workflows from there, check that they're working, pull in all the data using the data map skill, run evals, refine your skills for that layer, get it working perfectly. Once it's done that, it shows proof of value, and then you move on to the next one. And you literally just repeat until you've gotten everything that you want. There is value in having the generic interview skill that's floating around. It's the same thing as superpowers as brainstorm. Of course, it will help you get you where you want to go. But for me, hopefully I've shown that having these domain expert interviewers within the realm of the 4 pods is a much better approach, because it's a logical framing for the human, not just to get the context from you, but also to design and architect your systems that you're building in real time with the AI. So I hope this video was helpful. Leave some comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, check out the videos on the screen now. They'll definitely help you in your journey, or you can check out my community where we're building the AIOS model every single day. See you guys later.